Hello, welcome to the CTCL Virtual Days College Fair. Thank you for joining us today. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening. Be sure to sign up for additional ones where you signed up for this one. And this presentation is being recorded. It'll be available within about a week, again, at the same website where you registered for this session. That's all the housekeeping stuff I have, so I will get out of the way and turn it over to our presenters from Birmingham-Southern College.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Well, before I share my screen, I want to take a moment and say thank you all for joining us. We're so excited that you're here. My name is Elena Elgin. I am a senior assistant director here at Birmingham-Southern College. And while we wish we could be doing this in person and really be able to connect with you guys individually, we're all doing what we have to do given the global pandemic. And we're so excited you guys have joined us today to be able to spend the next 45 minutes with us. So I'll also introduce or let Pamela introduce herself, and then we'll get started. So Pamela.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pamela Grubbs-Lowry, and I'm also an assistant director of admission here at BSC, and I'm also an alum of the college. So we're really excited to share with you about BSC, and we're so glad that you're joining us today.
Awesome. Okay, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will get started with our presentation. And Pamela, if at any point you can't see me or you can't hear me, just bop on and let me know. Okay. Okay, so that being said, welcome to BSC. We are so excited that you are here and going to take some time and learn a little bit more about us and who we are and what we kind of have going on here at Birmingham-Southern College. Like I said, BSC, some fun, quick statistics. We are a small private liberal arts school. We have about 1,200 students on our campus. We're going to get into all of the really fun details as we go through. But like I said, we really wish that you could be here on campus today. It's absolutely beautiful here in Birmingham. These are just some really fantastic pictures of all that our campus has to offer. Even though we're a smaller school, we are located in Birmingham, Alabama, which is the largest city in the state of Alabama and one of the largest cities in the Southeast. But the best part about BSC is we have 200 private acres to ourselves. So when you're on the Hilltop, which is quite literally a hilltop that overlooks all of downtown Birmingham, you don't feel like you're in a metropolitan area at all. It really is serene. It's beautiful. There's hiking, there's camping, there's a lake on campus, there's the beautiful bell tower. There really is so much going on our beautiful campus. Okay, and getting right into it, we know that students joining this session already know that we're a colleges that change live schools, but I think it's important to reiterate this and that we really want our students to go out and live lives of significance. Being a part of the Colleges That Change Lives cohort is huge for us. We have been a Colleges That Change Lives school since the very beginning when the book was originally published, I believe about 10 years ago. And, you know, Colleges That Change Lives schools are chosen for a very specific reason. They are schools that encourage students to be able to think critically, to go out into the world and have a skill set behind them that's encouraging them to live a life of significance without having the Ivy name behind it or the Ivy price, really. So we are absolutely elated to be a CTCL school. That being said, we also do encourage our students to live lives of significance, meaning that when you leave Birmingham Southern, your college degree is not going to be something that just hangs in a fancy frame on the wall. It really is going to be a living and breathing document. You are going to be so prepared to go into whatever world or job or graduate school or PhD program that you want to go into when you leave BSC, while also having that tight-knit, really close community supporting you and behind you. So the way in which we do that is a little bit unique to BSC. I think this is one of the coolest things that BSC has to offer across the board, though. So a lot of schools talk about a core curriculum. And we do have a core curriculum here at Birmingham Southern, but we call it our explorations curriculum. Because like I said, we here at BSC want you to leave with skill sets behind you to be able to propel you into the future. So for a lot of schools, what a core curriculum looks like is schools will say, okay, you need to take a math, a science, an English, and a history, and then you can just do your major. But BSC says those are great, but we also really want to encourage students to have those skills. So for us, our core curriculum is 5 skills: effective communication, creative problem solving, civic engagement, the ability to apply different ideas across different disciplines, and then self-directed teaching and learning. This is a little bit unique. We know this, but the reason we developed this core curriculum this way is because about 5 years ago, we started meeting with CEOs, CFOs, deans of graduate schools, law schools, and said, okay, across the board, regardless of what students are majoring in, what do they need to be able to do when they come out of college? And these were the 5 skill sets that everybody said students need to be able to do these things when they leave an undergraduate degree. And that's why we harp on them so much. But we also know that not every student is the same, and we never want students to feel like they're put in a box just because they study one thing, or maybe they're better at one of these skill sets than the other. And that is a really, really unique thing. So this is a creative problem solving skill set, as you can see. And in it, there is a lot of different classes you can take. You can take everything from mathematical statistics and calculus and logic survey. If you want to problem solve by physically and mathematically solving problems, that is awesome. But that is personally not the way my brain works in any capacity. So I might be a better fit for taking something like music theory or the history of terrorism or art and art history. Because here at BSC, we know that people are different. We encourage people to be different, and we encourage different people to learn in different ways. So we can't ever say, well, the only way to problem solve is by doing math, because that's not true. We really help students be able to look at this curriculum and say, all right, what is your best way of problem solving? Let's find a class that's going to really hone that skill. And it might not be solving math problems. It might, but it might not be. Pamela, do you have input about this you would like to say about your experience with the core curriculum?
Sure. So I really enjoyed this just because it allowed a lot of flexibility when I was choosing my classes, especially just starting out. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to major in, so I was able to explore a bunch of different things. And I had 2 years to declare my major, so I had plenty of time to explore some different subjects, take some different classes I might not have taken before, all while fulfilling my general education requirements. And so I wasn't set back to graduate. I was able to graduate on time still, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. And you definitely have an advisor that walks you through all of this. So you're never left to figure this out all on your own. So since we kind of talked about the classroom and the learning environment, we always like to talk about the people you are going to be learning alongside with. So we do have 1,200 students on our campus. We are a smaller school, but those students are coming from 31 states and 18 different countries. If you're listening to this broadcast and you don't see your state filled in, come our way. We would absolutely love to get that state filled in for you. We're working towards 50, but we have a really diverse population on our student body. We are not a suitcase college. People do not just come for the weekend and leave. People are really coming from all over the United States, but more so all over the world to get a BSc education, which is absolutely phenomenal and unique. And our average class size is about 16. I always say it depends. Maybe Pamela, you can give your input on this as well. I think classes usually range anywhere from 10 to 8 to 12 students. I know that if you're taking like an 8 a.m. chemistry class on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's probably going to be smaller than if you're taking a 2 p.m., intro to business or psychology later in the afternoon. Pamela, what's your take on the class size since you actually experienced it here on campus?
Yeah. So most of the freshman level classes, I think, range between 20 and 25 people. I think the biggest class I've ever seen was a freshman biology class, and I don't think they even had more than 30 people. But especially as you get into your junior and senior classes and you're really honing in on your major, you might be like one of three in the class. Like it's a really nice setting to where you can discuss the material with the professor, but also the other people in your class. And so you get to hear a lot of different interpretations of what you're reading and the notes and the lecture. It's really cool.
That's awesome. And yeah, so while you might have classes that range in size, you're always going to have an advisor that walks you through your entire curriculum, which is where you see that 3.5 to 1. For every 3.5 students, there is one faculty or staff member and advisor that is here to guide you through the program. And Pamela, I know you loved your advisor. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience for you?
Oh, absolutely. So my advisor, he was one of my favorite professors at Birmingham-Southern, and he was always really good about meeting with me before every semester started to get through registration, but I could also go to him at any point in the semester if I had questions. I had several classes with him as well, and I was also, since I was his advisee and I was also in his classes, I was also able to do an research internship with him. I had the opportunity to do that. So it was really cool to have him in my corner through the entire time I was at Birmingham Southern, and afterwards also, getting him to write me recommendation letters and things like that. And we still talk, we're still friends. So the professors and advisors at BSC are really awesome people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And talking about areas of study, we have a lot of different majors here at BSC, over 50. If you don't see the specific major you want, don't panic. I promise we will help you contract your own major. The 5 that are highlighted here are just our 5 most popular. So it's business, education, pre-health, pre-law, and psychology. There is, you might see some with an asterisk, and that means we do have dual degree programs. If you have any questions about these specific programs or just questions in general, I forgot to mention this, I'm so sorry at the beginning, there is a Q&A box here at the bottom of your screen. You should be able to click it. You can type any questions. We will respond to them live. Pamela is monitoring the chat, so she'll either type back to you or pop in and say, hey, Elena, we have a great question. So please, as we go through this presentation, if you have any questions or want to know anything specifically, doesn't even have to be what we're talking about right now. We will get to them as we go through and at the end. So don't be shy. Please ask questions. Please, please, please. We want to make sure your questions are answered. That being said, back to our areas of study. We have so many different areas of study. It is a really beautiful place to be when you can be at a small school and know that you don't have to know what you want to do when you apply to college or even as you go through it. That's why we have advisors. That's why we encourage all of our students to take a wide variety of subjects. It's because some students come in and they know what they want to do and they love it and they are so on the right path, and that's awesome. Some students come in, they know what they want to do, they take that first class and they're like, oh man, that's not what I want to do. Or they take a random class and they find what they're passionate about. For us, that's what higher education is really about. And being a BSc student, we really want you to be able to have all of those experiences inside and outside of your major. Okay, E-term, I think this is one of the coolest things that BSC has to offer. I'm going to let Pamela share her E-term experience, but I want to kind of explain it really quickly. E-term for us is our explorations term, which is offered every single January. Our semesters run on average from August through December, and then February through May, with January being a 1-month mini-semester explorations term. And this is a time to take a non-traditional class taught by our BSC faculty and staff. So you can take everything from the history of the South and barbecue, where you travel around the Southeast and eat barbecue for a month. You can go to Iceland and take a photography class. You can eat your way through Europe on an agribusiness tour, or you can stay on campus and take cybersecurity in the United States. All of these are really, really cool programs. And we do require that students do 2 E-terms in their time at BSC. Pamela, do you want to come on and share your E-term experiences?
Sure. So I actually transferred to BSC, so I had to do my 2 required E-terms back to back, both of the Januaries that I was there. So my first one, I actually did a class on video essays. which you can find different examples of those on YouTube. It's kind of an interesting concept to explain in this short amount of time that we have today. But we learned what they were, and then we wrote our own essay to build into a video essay. And it was a really cool experience and project. And then the second one that I went on was an amazing experience because I had a minor in art history, and our art history faculty took us on a 2-week trip to London and Paris. And so both of the faculty that led the trip, both of them had spent time as students in both of those cities. So it was like having our own private tour guides. And it was also just really cool seeing some of the pieces that we had been studying through the semester up close and in person. It was really cool. And I picked up a little bit of French and quickly forgot it. So don't ask me too much. It was a really amazing experience. And I always encourage students, if they get the opportunity to travel during that time, it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, it really is. It's so fun. And students really get the opportunity. Like Pamela mentioned, you can take classes that are in your major. You can take classes totally outside of your major. This really is a time to explore, and we encourage students to do that. But if studying abroad piques your interest, we also have study abroad opportunities. We offer summer, semester, and year-long study abroad opportunities for students here at BSC. So no matter what you're interested in or where you want to go or how long you want to go for, we can definitely make that happen for you here. Studying abroad is something we really encourage students to do, to get out and explore the world. I mean, that's kind of our mantra at BSC, is exploration and exploring yourself, exploring your mind, exploring a new curriculum and a new experience. So definitely have it if that's something you want. And like I said, I feel like I can get on my soapbox about this and sound like a broken record, because getting outside the classroom and exploring is so important for us here at BSC. We really want students to know that there is a purpose behind why they are learning what they're learning, whether or not it pertains to their major. Because like I said at the beginning, here at BSC, we are focusing on skills and developing you as a well-rounded individual, not just pushing you through a pipeline program. So you're really going to have the experience to know, okay, this class is important, even if it doesn't directly pertain to my major. I always give the example, I am not a BSC alum, but I know that this happens on campus, is for me growing up in high school and in college, geometry was just one of those classes. I was like, why am I learning this? I don't really need to know this. I studied business. I didn't think it was important. And I was telling a professor at BSC this, and he said, well, that's really funny because I take my geometry students every year out into the Birmingham community and show them from a building perspective, from an environmental perspective, why it is important to know a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and the hypotenuse, all of those geometrical languages that still go way over my head. He said, but there is a reason why, and we teach our students the importance behind that. And that just blew my mind, because students at BSC really understand what they're learning is important, whether or not it pertains to what they're specifically studying. They're developing a skill set. They're being able to apply that skill set across a variety of different disciplines, and that will transfer on and on again and again. So getting outside the classroom is huge for us. I think it's at any point in time, 40% of our classes will have an experiential learning component built into the class curriculum, so that you physically have to leave the BSC community and get out and go do something with what you're learning in a tangible way, as well as with community service. This is huge for us. So many of our students participate in community service here at BSC. I always like to say we've been in our location. If you were on campus with us today, you would see where we're located. We're just 2 miles northwest of downtown, but we have been in that location for over 100 years. So the city of Birmingham has really built up around Birmingham-Southern College, and Birmingham is growing drastically. We'll talk about that in a minute, but we really feel a strong connection to our community as an institution that's been where we've been for so long. So we give back to our community. I think our running statistic is about 80% of all students will participate in community service in one way or another. And internships. This is huge, 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 huge. And we get asked about this all the time. I'm going to ask Pamela. I know she did a really cool research internship experience on BSC campus, but we do guarantee internships and research for all of our students. I hear so many times Well, BSC is so small, I doubt I'll be able to get the internship or the experience I want, which is a total lie. Because we are so small, we are so well connected, and we really can put students strategically and specifically in places that are really going to help them grow. So that being said, Pamela, can you share your sleep lab experience? I feel like it's the perfect example of internship/research opportunities you got to do on campus.
Oh, absolutely. So as I mentioned before, I got to do a research project with my advisor, and a lot of the professors here on campus are still very active in their field. So this is a great opportunity to kind of dip your toe into the field you're interested in before you graduate with your 4-year degree. So as Elena said, it was a sleep study. So it was more of a sleep deprivation study that we did for the U.S. Navy, and trying to figure out different helpful things that we could use to keep pilots awake and alert and have good reaction times without causing them later health problems in the future with really strong stimulants and things like that. It was really interesting, and we got to keep people up for like 48 hours. I didn't have to stay up for 48 hours, but they did.
Oh man. And Pamela, was that research published?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. So you left college with being a published researcher, which is awesome. And I can't stress how rarely that happens. It's really awesome. Okay. All right. But that is all so far down the line. You're just thinking about college, you're just getting interested. So we always like to say, let's bring it back up to the hilltop and talk about all the fun things that there are to do on campus. So here at BSC, 82% of all of our students live on campus all 4 years. We do have a 3-year housing requirement here at BSC. Unless you live in the Birmingham area or have a family member that lives here, we do want you to be on campus and really getting and experiencing the BSC campus life community. And because we're not in person, we cannot give you a tour of the residence halls. But if you go to BSC admissions, Pamela, I think that's right, on Instagram, correct me if I'm wrong, you can find a whole Instagram tour we did of the residence halls, which is awesome. It's really in depth and really gives you a good peek. But basically the way it works for us is your freshman year, you live in a pretty typical freshman hall. You have your own bedroom, or excuse me, you share a bedroom with a roommate, but your toilets and showers are on the hall. You meet your best friends brushing your teeth or washing your hands. It's a really, really fun experience. After that, we move into suite style living. So you have your own bedroom, they share a bathroom, living room, kitchen area with 3 or 4 other people, so that you really can kind of have a more apartment living. Still call it suite style because we do have apartments as well on campus that students can live on while they're here at BSC, which is awesome. And getting involved, oh my gosh, I giggle because our students are so involved here at BSC. Sometimes I'll ask them what they've got going on and they give me this long list and I'm like, oh my gosh, when was the last time you slept? You have so much going on, which is such a good problem to have. Our students are involved in one of our 80+ organizations, and they really have a strong commitment to the BSC community as well. Pamela, do you have certain student organizations you just love being a part of while you're here on campus?
So one very memorable one that I remember being part of, or at least helping get started, was BSC's Quidditch team. Which is always great fun. But I actually, since I was kind of more of a non-traditional student, I actually wasn't as involved in as many campus organizations while I was at BSC, but I got to attend a lot of different events that they would host and things like that. And those were always really fun. And it's also really easy to start your own student organization. As I mentioned before, I helped start a Quidditch team, but it's also something to where if you look at the list of things and you're just like, I don't see something there that piques my interest, you can easily start your own student organization. And it's pretty simple to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, there's so much going on. It really is incredible. I know our student planning board budget's about $500,000 every year for student activities alone. So when I say there is literally something always going on campus, there's always going on campus. I think Pamela can attest to that as well. Our students are very rarely bored. Would you say that's true, Pamela?
Oh, absolutely. There's always something going on.
It's awesome. These are some of it that we as faculty and staff host for our students. My favorite is Mama's Home Cooking in January. Basically, it's the bottom left picture, but we as faculty and staff all cook different parts of a home cooked meal and bring it up to campus and serve it. And so everybody from the Birmingham Southern community is invited to come. You really get the opportunity to have a home cooked meal before we start our spring semester. It's just a really good way to say welcome back to everybody from their January term and just be able to have a good system Southern meal. It is awesome. And then, of course, pause for finals is fun when students are stressed out. We bring dogs on campus and you can pet a puppy, and it's a great time to de-stress. And then Halloween on the Hilltop is when we kind of set up a Halloween trick-or-treat booth, and students from the community as well. Well, students on campus, but as well as kids from the community can come up to campus and go trick-or-treating, which is awesome. Okay, and we also are part of the United Methodist Church. So Julie Holly, who's our chaplain, who's pictured on the right, she oversees not only our traditional Christian groups on campus, but also our Jewish student groups and our Islamic student groups. While we are affiliated with the United Methodist Church, there is no chapel requirement for any of our students. So it's not a requirement that you go to chapel or take a Christian-based religious class, but it is offered if that's something you're interested in. And we also have Greek organizations here on campus. About 40% of campus is Greek. It is very different than a larger state school experience might be. We have delayed rush. So rush actually takes place later into your time here at BSC. You have a good amount of time to get to campus, really get acclimated. And then you can go through rush. And it really is very different. It is a very inclusive experience. My understanding is that all Greek events are open to the entire campus community. It is never a closed off thing. And if that's something you want to be involved in, you absolutely can. But mainly it's important to know that Greek Life is just one of many clubs and organizations you can be involved in here at BSC. And if you're an athlete or thinking about playing or being part of a collegiate athletic team, we are Division III, part of the Southern Athletic Association. We have over 23 Division III teams here at BSC, and it is so much more fun to cheer on a team that you have a personal investment in, meaning you know the person making that winning touchdown run, you know the person making that final basketball goal or kicking the best soccer goal or running across the finish line. It is so much more fun to cheer on the Panthers when you have a personal investment in it, which all of our students do. All of our student athletic events are open to the entire campus community. As a student, you'll never be charged, and all of the facilities are located on our campus as well. Okay. So you might at this point be like, all right, this is awesome, but I'm getting a little overwhelmed with how am I going to travel the world and pick a major and be a part of an athletic team and still go to school, right? That's why you're going to college. And that is okay to feel overwhelmed in this process in general, but especially when thinking about all of these things in combination. And that is why BSC has the resources that we do in place. We have everything from an honor code to free tutoring, free writing lab. We have our professors maintain open office hours. We really want to make sure students succeed here at BSC, and we are here and happy to provide you with every opportunity you could need to be able to succeed. Pamela, since you were a student, do you want to maybe touch on the resources that you felt like were available to you?
Oh, sure. So one of the biggest ones that I used was definitely the writing lab, especially when doing some research papers. Having a second set of eyes on that was extremely helpful. But I also took advantage of like our career service center. So when I was getting close to graduation and I was like, all right, I'm about to enter the job market and I don't have a very good resume, I was able to take what little bare bones of a resume I had in there, and they were able to sit down with me and help me flesh it out, help me write a cover letter to go with it and things like that. And it was very helpful. And we also have free counseling and health services on campus, which was great to be able to take advantage of when I needed it.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Pamela. Another important thing to mention is our campus safety. If you were on campus today, you would see that we are a private campus, so there's one way on campus, one way out. We have 18 full-time police officers that monitor our campus and make sure that everything is good to go. They not only keep us safe, but they go above and beyond the call of duty. They have pumped my tire full of air so many times and changed my tire. They'll feed your goldfish for you if you need it. They really are just some of the best people. And getting to talk about Birmingham. This is important. This is so much fun. Pamela and I are both from Birmingham. I recently moved back about 3 years ago, and it is really a fun city to be in, to live in, to work in. Birmingham, if you're looking for a city that still feels small enough where you have that good Southern vibe, but you know that you're in a large metropolitan area, it really is the place for you. As well as if you like food and like to eat, Birmingham is phenomenal. I kind of said my piece about Birmingham. Pamela, do you have anything to add about how cool the city is?
There's just so much to do, like in addition to any different like internship or research opportunities, there's just so much fun things to do, whether you want to check out Vulcan or the art museum, which is personally my favorite place to go. As I mentioned earlier, being an art history minor, I just love going through the halls of all the different art and things. As this slide suggests, the food is probably one of my favorite things about Birmingham because there's always something different popping up. And I grew up in Birmingham and I've barely scratched the surface of all the different restaurants that are here. And there's always, no matter what you're in the mood for, there's at least one restaurant that can cater to what you're in the mood for.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Now getting to the good stuff. How do we apply? Let's go. If you're at this point in life, I'm so freaking excited about BSc, then pay attention. So there are 3 ways to apply to BSc: the common application, our online application, and the coalition application. What's important to note is that our online application is always free. You will never have to pay for it. These are some important dates to remember as well. I'm not going to read the whole slide for you, but the important thing to notice is the distinction between early decision and early action. Early decision is our binding agreement, meaning that if you apply before November 2nd by your senior year, we guarantee you an admission decision by December 2nd of your senior year, as long as a financial aid and scholarship package. And we're expecting you at that point, if admitted, to pull all other offers and attend BSc. If that feels a little bit like a big commitment, and that's totally fine, early action might be a great fit for you. All it means is that if you apply before November 16th of your senior year, we guarantee you an admission and scholarship package by December 16th. Nothing about that is binding. There is no restrictions on it. You can take all the way till May 1st to let us know if you're going to attend BSc or not. Also important to complete the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal and student aid. It opens October 1st of your senior year. So seniors, please go ahead and get that done and get it sent our way. That is awesome. And we are a test optional school, so there's 2 ways to apply to BSc. Our standard application, which all we require is your high school transcript and your ACT or SAT scores, and then encouraged but not required an essay, a letter of recommendation, or an interview. Again, for the standard one, we don't require them, but we do encourage you to submit those. Test optional, though, this is really important. We've been test optional for about 3 years now. I believe this is our 3rd year being test optional. Pamela, correct me if I'm wrong. But what test optional means and why we went test optional is because we know here at BSc that not every student is going to be able to be judged based on their test scores. Not everybody's a great test taker. And we know test scores do not necessarily have a correlation with academic ability or ability to achieve in a higher education setting. So that's why we went test optional, but it's been really beneficial this year. We know with the impact of COVID how hard it's been for students to take an ACT or SAT, the stress that's been around it. So being test optional means all we require is your high school transcript and then an essay or a personal statement. No test score is required. And if we're reading your application and we think, we just need a little bit more information, we might request an academic letter of recommendation or an interview. But it's important to know whichever way you decide to apply, we are a holistic review process, meaning we read every application that comes through, we read every essay that students submit, we read every letter of recommendation. So we really get to know you as an applicant. We don't just look, okay, here's your test score, here's your GPA, you get in. It really is by a case-by-case scenario. So if you ever have any questions about, oh my gosh, am I gonna get in? What do I need? Just call us because we wanna have that conversation with you and get to know you personally, and then we can walk you through the process. But this is our scholarship grid. You can kind of find maybe if you have your ACT scores or SAT scores where your GPA is. It looks very similar for a test optional grid as well. If you go to bsc.edu/scholarships, you can actually find our online scholarship grid, and that is where you will be able to see the comparison of standard versus test optional. This is our test optional one. I forgot I had it on here, so you can kind of see the comparison. Again, goes up to 11,000 for both. Again, if you're thinking, oh, I'm really interested in BSc, I really want to apply, but I'm not sure which one to apply with or for, or how to do it, please give us a call. We want to help you with this process. If you go to bsc.edu/apply, you can find your admission counselor. They will walk you through the process, walk you through which application would be best for you, and allow you to get the maximum amount of potential scholarships that you could get. But why it's important to submit a resume or a letter of recommendation or an essay or something like that is because we have all of these special scholarships that are open for students to be able to apply for. Everything from visual and performing arts to our Legacy Scholarship, our Bonner Leadership Program, our Abrams, which is our Jewish Student Scholarship, to our Distinguished Scholars, which is our 5 full tuition and 2 full cost of attendance scholarships every year. There really is a lot to be said about how many extra scholarships we have for students to be able to apply to. But if you don't send us a resume or let us know you're interested in these things, we won't know about them. I always tell students, you could have, a 36 on the ACT and a 4.0, and we will say you are brilliantly smart. We love that. But if you don't send in a resume saying, yeah, I also volunteer, and I'm also a part of this religious organization or group, and I've played the piano for 15 years, we can't recommend you for any of these special scholarships. So please send that our way, or let us know. Give us a call. Come visit us on campus. We would love to make it happen. Okay. And Pamela, do you want to quickly touch on transfer students just in case we have any students popping in?
Sure. I actually work with all transfer students coming to BSC. And so if you are applying to BSC, you can apply either through the Common App or through our online BSC application. And then all we need really is your transcripts from any institution that you have attended. You're welcome to send in an essay or a letter of recommendation, preferably from a professor. And then after you have submitted your enrollment deposit, we would need a letter of good standing from your school. But other than that, to apply for admission, all we need is the application form and your transcript.
Awesome. Okay, so getting down to the important cost is we want you to know, before we go over this number, we recognize the fact that college is an investment, and it is an investment, a financial investment, an emotional investment, a personal investment. And it's important to note that BSC recognizes that. And in the past 3 years, we have actually cut our cost of attendance in half. We used to be priced around $65,000 a year. We realized that that was not a financially stable or attainable goal to ask students to think about paying for 1 year, nevertheless 4. So we did a whole tuition reset. So I am so thrilled to announce for this past year, our total cost of tuition and fees, housing, and an unlimited meal plan for students living on campus was $31,800. Also important to know that is before any scholarship was applied. And last year, 100% of students who were admitted to BSC did receive either merit-based aid or financial aid or both to be able to help offset the cost of attendance, which is huge. And we do know that, like I said, it is an investment. We want to make sure you have a good return on that investment. So here at BSC, we do have the highest four-year grade rate in the state of Alabama. We're also one of the top 100 colleges for return on investment by Forbes. We're colleges that change live schools, and we're one of top 10 schools that lead to graduate school, which is awesome. Okay, so that being said, the kind of next steps we get all the time, students will say, this is great, but what do I do now? What am I doing? Can I come visit? The answer is yes, yes, yes. But also you can learn a lot more about us by going to chat.bsc.edu. We are going to answer all of these questions. We do live chats about once a month, every 3 weeks-ish, that really give you the chance to get a good peek inside BSC. So we want you to be able to join us for that. You can go ahead and pre-register for ones that are coming up. I know our financial aid one is coming up in November, Pamela, is that right? Do you know?
November, yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I want to say it's November 17th. I want to say it's November 17th, but it might be the 16th. But that way you can really get the chance to get on a chat, learn more about it. We're also doing events called BSC Sample Southern. It's all virtual this year. They are specific to your geographic area, if you go to, I believe it's sample.bsc.edu, you can sign up for one of those as well. And visiting us on campus, huge. Please come visit us. We are open for tours. They are socially distant. They are safe. They are filling up very quickly. But if you go to bsc.edu/visit, we can absolutely accommodate you on campus. So that being said, I'm going to quit sharing my screen because I want to make sure that we can have the last couple of minutes to talk to you guys. Pamela, maybe we can give you these last 5 minutes if we don't have any questions in the chat. Maybe your best piece of advice you would give students as they're going through this process.
Sure. I would always recommend to start the process early if you're able to, just because we have a lot of scholarship deadlines that are set early on. So we want to make sure that you have the full opportunity to take advantage of those. And if you're not able to come to campus for whatever reason to come for a visit, which I highly encourage if you're able to, I always encourage students to stay in touch with their admission counselor and ask any questions. There's no wrong questions here. That's why we're here, is to help you along in the process and to answer any questions that you have. So those would be my little bits of advice.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. And my kind of core advice that I give all of our students is that make sure when you're looking through this college process that you know a couple of things. That you don't have to know it all, and that's totally okay. You don't have to know what you want to major in or your life plan when you're 17, 18 years old. That is a lifelong lesson I think we're all learning. So just know it's okay not to know. B is know, though, what you love. Know who you are, know whether you want a big school, a small school, and be open to looking at a variety of different things. I think that's really important for students. And then the last thing is get on college campuses. We know that we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and that is not as easy as it has been in the past. And I hate that, but we would absolutely love to have you come onto the Hilltop and really get to experience what it's like to be a BSc student, but also for other colleges. You know, I think as college reps, both Pamela and I speak for all colleges in the United States in saying that we are here to help you. We are here to make sure you know you never have to go through this process by yourself. There are admission counselors like myself and Pamela that work specifically for BSc, but there are also counselors all across the United States that really want to help you through this process. So don't ever be a stranger. Please reach out to us if you need anything. And just know that we are here, happy to help. and we really want to make sure that you find the best fit for you in this process. So that being said, we have like 3 minutes left. So I want to make sure we kind of just hit the highlights one last time about BSc and the next action item. So we have visiting campus, really important. Pamela, do you know the link where people can go to? It's bsc.edu/chat or bsc.edu/visit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so go to bsc.edu/visit, visit us on campus, go to chat.bsc.edu to join us for a video chat. Super important. We would love to have you. Head over to sample.bsc.edu for one of our Sample Southern events. And then, of course, if you have any questions at all, if you want to apply, if you have questions for us, please reach out to us by just going to bsc.edu, and we can really help walk you through that process. That being said, Pamela, do we have any questions in the chat box or anything? We have 2 minutes left. So if we don't have any questions, that's okay. We can just wrap it up.
No questions in the chat right now, but I had one that I had, or that we often get, especially for like that tail end in regards to tuition, which is whether we charge out of state.
Oh, that's a great point. Great point. And the answer is, of course, no. Exactly. That's a really great point, Pamela. Thank you so much. No, we do not charge out-of-state tuition for any of our students. Our cost is the same across the board for every student that wants to come. And please know, like I said, we recognize college is a financial investment, and our financial aid staff, as well as all the admissions staff here at BSc, is happy and ready to help you walk through that. But we are going to make sure that you filled out the FAFSA before you do it. So please make sure to go ahead and do that, especially if you're a senior. The FAFSA can be found at FAFSA.org, I believe, or if you can type in FAFSA into your Google search bar. Just remember, it is free. If you find yourself paying for the free application for federal and student aid, please don't. But that being said, we are at our time. So thank you so much. It has been a pleasure getting to know and meet all of you. And please reach out if you need anything.
Thank you very much for presenting and giving great information today. I want to thank everyone for attending this session. When you close this window, there'll be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted. Be sure to sign up for additional ones where you registered for this session. And in about a week, you'll be able to find the session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings. Again, the same place you signed up for today's session. Once again, thank you to our presenters from Birmingham-Southern College, and thank you for attending today. Have a good rest of your day.